This is question 6 on the HL physics mock, and it's also question 3 on the SL physics mock. We start off with some information about this electric circuit. It tells us about the filament lamp. It tells us the student's trying to set up a circuit to measure the current voltage characteristics of the filament lamp, but he set it up incorrectly. Essentially, the ammeter and the voltmeter are in the incorrect positions. Tells us some more information about the battery. Tells us to ignore the internal resistance and ignore the resistance of the ammeter as well. But it does say the resistance of the voltmeter is very high, 100,000 ohms, and the maximum resistance of the variable resistor is only 15 ohms. And it asks if we can explain, without doing any calculations, whether there's a position of the slide S at which the lamp will be lit. And the answer is no. In essence, the bulb is permanently in series with that 100,000 ohm resistor, the voltmeter there, which means it's never going to get a big enough share of the 12 volt supply in order to be lit, no matter where on the slide it ends up. So no, there's no position on the slide. There's a number of different ways you can pick up those marks, but that's essentially what it comes down to. Estimate the maximum reading of the ammeter. Now, if you've read the mark scheme, you'll see that it comes up with something like 1.2 times 10 to the minus 4, but that's not correct. So the real answer we want to work out comes out as 0.8 amps. And essentially, it's because we can ignore this whole right-hand side section of the circuit. We can ignore this because it's such a high resistance. We can take it out of the equation, and we look just at this resistor here. So this resistor here has a resistance of 15 ohms, so that's what we use in our sum, and the current therefore is 12 volts divided by 15 ohms gives us 0.8 amps. All right, and that's it. That's the maximum reading of the ammeter. Even the minimum reading would be almost exactly the same, no matter where you put this slide S, whether the voltmeter and the bulb are across the entire resistor or whether they're across very little of the resistor. The resistance here is so large that it doesn't really make any difference. So 0.8 is the answer in either case. You'd have to go to 4 or 5 significant figures before there would be a difference. So the answer is 0.8 amps. Part C, most people got this right, but there were a couple of silly mistakes. Complete the circuit diagram below showing the correct position of the voltmeter and of the ammeter in order to determine the current voltage characteristics of the lamp. So you've got to be quite specific here. We still need to include the variable resistor, because otherwise we can't actually determine the characteristics. We have to get multiple readings. We need the voltmeter to be directly in parallel with the bulb or the lamp, and we also need the ammeter to be in series, but the ammeter can't be inside this branch here, because then the voltmeter would be taking a reading across both. We need the ammeter to be outside of it. But this is the correct positioning, and that's worth 2 marks, 1 for the voltmeter, 1 for the ammeter. And that is question 6 and question 3.